what was the makeup of the audience? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was, well, in America, kind of more mixed than you would imagine,
Okay, I'm so glad you said that.
and
All right,
still
only
is,
because
and and still is for the
all
Smiths.
right, so I found out people that listen to the show, of course, know of my worship of the production work of Jay Dilla. And when I first started working with Jay Dilla, like around 97, I was really amazed at how, like, a big part of my expansive musical vocabulary, I mean, it was prevalent in the household because, I grew up with a sister that listened to rock and alt music and all that stuff. And, my dad liked yacht rock. And so I got everything out of my two parents and my sister. But I realized that in Detroit, there's a black radio station um, that had a show by a DJ called the Electrifying Mojo. And the Electrifying Mojo was open format to the bone. Like if it just had a if it had a texture that touched him, he would play it. And again, Funkadelics from Detroit, so they would sometimes do straight up rock shit. And it wasn't like now where it's just like it has to be funk or rap or he could play whatever. And they were trying to explain to me one day they were singing
Meat is Murder, maybe Meat is Murder, maybe that was a big album in America.
well, no. I think I don't know if it was Charming Man or whatever. It was he had it, and I was like, "Yo, what you know about this shit?" And he hit me to the fact. And later, I got tapes where I would listen to, someone would record 4 hours of the Mojo show, and for the life of me, I couldn't get how some of the most gangster ass motherfuckers from like Detroit, when suddenly, if you were put on You Guys or Depeche Mode or New Order,
Yeah,
like they would just go crazy and start singing it like off the top. And I was wondering, like, how did Mojo DJing in the Midwest, if you will, sort of affect that? So I always wanted to know what the concerts looked like because
it was really cool. It was and this is, so it's 85, and uh frankly, I was surprised. It was great, but then there was so much about America that I was learning about. It was so good. And I mean, us being musicians from England, we were just like,
Mhm.
we're gonna go to Motown. We're gonna go to Motown. But and then the Fox was, it was a, oh yeah, and all those places were but it was a mixed crowd, and that stayed right
Ah,
the way through, right straight right the way to this day. To this day, we the band to this day being sampled. It's amazing. And
mhm.
yeah, and the audience, I mean, my own audience as well. It's pretty cool. But this, we come from a city that it's a whole different sub. I guess, well, maybe it's related, but the in 81, 82, the Manchester had this really strong relationship with New York and the electro scene, and really we have to thank Factory Records and therefore New Order for that whole thing, certain ratio. And these were all my pals, and I hadn't had a record deal yet, and I was forming the Smiths, but everybody knew everybody else. And the first ever Smiths show in America was at Danceteria.
Whoa, what was that shit like?
Oh, we were jet lagged, and like, no manager, and it was New Year's Eve from 83 going into 84. And uh, and it was, we couldn't believe it. We were in Danceteria. So because we were from Manchester, so on the face of it, people from the outside world are like, well, the Smiths are this chirpy, quirky, very, very, very English. But
Right.
because of the Manchester experience, Danceteria, we were buzzing that we were at Danceteria. And the myth goes, people say this is true, but I should know this, but that Madonna, because she worked there, that she opened for us in like a 20-minute set. I know it's been in a couple of books, and it may actually be right, but that was crazy that that happened. Yeah.
Damn.